So you want to open a brick and mortar, but you have no idea what kind of costs go into taking on such a task. Many entrepreneurs dream of opening their own brick and mortar. And that's why it's important to make sure that you do your research and find out everything you need to know and all of the costs associated with opening a brick and mortar. Shoot, even I want to open a brick and mortar, which is why I've taken the time to do this kind of research and want to share it with you guys because I know that many of my subscribers are also interested in opening a brick and mortar. So let's go ahead and take a look at what kind of costs you'll have to prepare for as you get ready to take the plunge to open your dream brick and mortar. Now, the cost to open a brick and mortar in any location can vary by several factors, including the size of the store, the location, the type of business, and the startup cost. Some of the expenses to consider when opening a brick and mortar include the following. Rent. So your rent or lease will likely be one of the biggest expenses going into the cost to open a brick and mortar because you have to pay for the space that you will be located in. So if you're in a big city, in a very popular destination area, maybe it's a tourist area or it's just a well-populated area by the locals, it's going to cost a lot more than if you are in a rural town somewhere where there's not very much foot traffic. In addition to that, the size is going to play a big part in whether or not it's going to be expensive. You're also going to have to think about build-out cost. So this will be the cost or the construction of the space or maybe renovating the space to fit your needs. And that can include things like plumbing, electrical work, and even painting. You're also going to need to purchase equipment. So going back to the clothing boutique example, if you're opening a clothing boutique, you're going to need things like shelving, display units, clothing racks. You'll probably need a checkout counter of some sort and dressing rooms. So you want to think about all of the different things that you need to purchase to be able to display your products and check people out and allow people to have a good shopping experience in your brick and mortar. And you will also need to have some type of system to check people out. So once again, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I love Shopify. So if you already have an online store through Shopify, I recommend going ahead and purchasing their POS system. I've made videos where I've demonstrated their POS system in the past, so I can link to those in the description bar down below as well. And if you don't already have a plan for an online website, most brick and mortars also have an online website for customers to purchase online, so they don't always have to come in the store. Maybe you have out of town customers who want to shop with you when they go back home. You want to have a website, I recommend Shopify. Shopify is a great POS system, but you can also look into systems like Square and whatnot. And then in addition to that, you're going to need inventory. So if you have watched any of my videos about opening an online clothing store, then you know I recommend for online stores to start small with inventory and build out your collection over time as people purchase from you. Then you can add more pieces, because I don't want people starting an online store to get stuck with a lot of inventory they can't move. But with a brick and mortar, it's a little bit different, right? Because you don't want your customers to walk into your store and see 4 items in a massive space and there's just not much of a selection and people are like, this is off. I'm gonna turn around and go out the door. So you wanna find the perfect amount of inventory that you can fill your store up and allow you to have a great selection for your customers to choose from, but you also don't want to go overboard on the inventory either. So you want to be really strategic as you are making your choices, whether that's a mixture of styles, sizes, things like that. You need to think about your target audience as you determine what makes the most sense for you to purchase from an inventory perspective. And with a brick and mortar, you're likely going to have more foot traffic in the door, so it's most of the time it's easier to move product than it is with an online store when you are just starting out, because people don't always trust online stores as much as they would trust a nice friendly face in the store selling them a product. So inventory is going to be a big one. And then you're also going to want to make sure that you set up your store legally. So you're going to need some permits and licenses, and this will depend on the type of business, but you're going to have to look into what type of local requirements there are, if there are any city permits, or maybe not city, but state permits or licenses required, and then also from a federal perspective what's required. So it's helpful to work with a lawyer for those types of things to make sure that you're doing everything by the book and you're following the rules so you don't get in trouble year one of business. So a lawyer is going to be an expense that you have to consider. And in addition to that, you're probably going to want to hire an accountant to make sure that you are tracking your money correctly, filing your taxes correctly, and your accountant can help you save money by letting you know what you can write off and what you can't. So that's another cost associated with opening a brick and mortar. Really any business though, because online businesses need accountants as well. You're also going to need to likely pay for some type of marketing or advertisements, because you open your new store and people, depending on your location, people might not know it's there. So you need to work with a digital marketing agency to get people in the door, or set up some ad campaigns around town. There's so many things you can do from a marketing perspective. You can hire a marketing team to help you with Facebook ads, Google ads, just getting your website to rank on Google through SEO. All sorts of things you can do. Social media management, they can help you with that. Help you prepare for your launch so you can have a big blowout on your opening day, get a lot of people in the door. So once again, another expense to factor in with opening a brick and mortar. This also probably applies to online stores as well, because you need to get people to know that your website exists. So either way, you're likely going to need to factor in some marketing help to at least guide you. If you can't afford to have them do it full time for you, maybe you can get an advisor who can help guide you in the right direction so you're not wasting money on things that won't yield results. And you know, the cost of opening a brick and mortar can really vary based on several factors, like the ones I've mentioned so far. But I will give you a ballpark. I mean, it can be anywhere from a couple $1,000s to hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on things like the location size, the build out, the construction, renovations, everything we've mentioned. They can all add up. So if you're ready to open a brick and mortar, make sure you continue to do additional research. You want to find the right contractor and real estate agent to help you save money and make the best decisions so that you can get to your opening day without going over budget. Now with that, I hope you guys enjoyed. I am going to share a couple of examples of some of my boutique owner friends, how much it costs them to open a brick and mortar. So if you're interested in learning about the cost for opening a clothing boutique brick and mortar, stay tuned. If not, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Eventually, I'm planning to open my brick and mortar, so subscribe to watch my journey. But with that, I'll see you guys next time.